Welcome back. This is Mr. Hassan's Maths channel. I'm now answering question number 4 from the October-November 2023 Pure Mathematics paper 1-1 from Cambridge 9709 syllabus. This question is about transformations of graphs, which is something which was introduced in the syllabus in 2020. So it's relatively new to this syllabus. It says the transformation R denotes a reflection in the x-axis, and the transformation T denotes a translation of 3 minus 1. Okay, so R is representing a reflection, okay, in the x-axis. So basically, this is the x-axis. It's going to reflect across the x-axis. Wherever a point here is going to go over there and so on. So this is like, you can say, a vertical type of transformation. All right, so we can divide the transformations into vertical and horizontal transformations. Now, vertical transformations affect the y coordinates. Okay, they affect the y coordinates. You can say they affect the whole function. They affect the whole function. Okay, and the next is a T, which represents a translation of the vector, or by the vector 3 minus 1. So this consists of two parts. One is horizontal, okay, 3 units to the right, and 2 is vertical, minus 1, which is 1 unit down. Okay, so that's what this represents. This is 1 unit down. So this vector represents that translation. So they've told us to find the equation y equals g of x of the curve with the equation y equals x squared after it has been transformed by the sequence of transformations r followed by t. So first r and then t. So first of all, we start off with y equals x squared. Now, after the first transformation, what's going to happen is the x squared, basically, the whole function is going to change its sign. So you multiply the whole thing by minus 1. So it's going to be minus x squared. And secondly, what's going to happen? You're going to have two translations happening. One of them is going to be inside the function. The horizontal translations are inside the function. Okay, so you're going to have x, and this is going to change. Now, when it's inside the function, it's kind of like you do the opposite. So if you have to go 3 units to the right, you're going to write minus 3 inside the bracket. So inside the function, you kind of do the opposite. Outside the function, it's normal. So this is going to be x minus 3 squared. And then you got minus 1. That's vertical. That's going to affect the y coordinates. So it's going to go down. So you're going to add this to the whole function. So it's going to be minus 1. You have so you've got the minus in front of the thing from here. That's from the first part. All right, and then you're going to do x minus 3 squared minus 1. So that's going to be our function g of x. We can say g of x is equal to minus x minus 3 squared minus 1. And there's the answer for this. Okay, so when you have like a change inside the function, you do the opposite. So you're going to go 3 units to the right. You put x minus 3, but inside the function. Okay, so it's basically, whatever the original function was, okay, you basically replace the x with minus 3, and then you subtract 1 from the whole function. Replace the x with minus 3, that will make it go 3 units to the right. And then you take away 1 from the whole function, and the minus in front of this x squared thing came from the first part, which is the reflection that we had to do first. Okay, so there's the answer to this. Now, if this was a reflection in the y-axis, in fact, in this particular curve, it would make no difference, because if it's a reflection in the y-axis, that would mean it goes this way. So it reflects, it's like a horizontal transformation. So you'd have to change the sign of the x. So the x, if you change it to minus x, you end up with getting y equals x squared, the same thing. And you can see that that's true, because when you reflect y equals x squared in the x-axis, you end up with y equals x squared. In the y-axis, you end up with y equals x squared. But in this case, it was a translation or reflection of the x-axis, so the y coordinates change, so the whole function has to have a minus in front of it, not inside it. Okay, so there's question number 4 done. 4a done, sorry. Now for 4b, it says find the equation y equal h of x of the curve with the equation y equals x squared after it has been transformed by the sequence of transformations t followed by r. So this time we're going the other way around. This is going to be this way this time. This is for part B. This is this way for part A. Okay, so first of all, you got to do the translation. Okay, the translation. 3 minus 1. So we start off in the same way. We've got y equals x squared. Let me just make space for the other one first. So we got y equals x squared. That becomes, so same thing. You have x minus 3 squared minus 1. Okay, so exactly the same thing that we did there. You got to go 3 units to the right and 1 unit down. So you have to do the opposite for the x coordinates. For the x part, you do, it says you got plus 3 here, so that's going to be minus 3. But for the y coordinate, you take it one from the whole function, but it's down. Okay, it goes down. And we always start with the transformations which are inside the function. We start with the x ones always. Okay, now the second one says a reflection. The other one was r, which was reflection in the x-axis. Okay, so the whole of this function has to change its sign. So you're going to basically say here h of x is going to be minus all of this. So you end up with minus x minus 3 squared plus 1. So there's the answer for h of x. Okay, so that's the answer for that part. Okay, so that's the answer for part 2 or part B. Now for part C, it says state fully the transformation that maps the curve y equals g of x onto h of x. So g of x, how does g of x become h of x? So g of x, remember, was minus x minus 3 squared minus 1. And how does it become minus x minus 3 squared plus 1? How does that happen? Okay, so basically what we can see here is g of x onto h of x. That's right. So this part is all the same. So that in terms of multiplying it by something outside, or having any transformations horizontally, there's no horizontal transformation. There's no reflection between this and this. They're the same. The only difference is that this is now shifted up 2 spaces vertically. Okay, this minus 1 becomes plus 1. Everything else is the same. So you can say this is a translation. You must mention the type of transformation, translation, and then you just have to put the vector. Now it's going 0 units horizontally, but it's going up 2 units. From minus 1 to plus 1 is 2 units. So it's going up 2 units, so 0, 2. That is the answer to part C. Okay, so it's a simple little transformations question. You just have to understand a few things about the orders of operations, and you have to understand about how to, what affects what coordinates. So the vertical transformations affect the y coordinates, the horizontal transformations affect the x coordinates. So the vertical transformations affect the whole function. So we had to multiply the whole function by minus 1 here, and here we had to multiply the whole of what we had by minus 1. Okay, but the horizontal transformations affect only the x coordinates, and you kind of do the opposite. Okay, so there's the answer to number 4, A, B, and C, and that's number 4 done. Okay, so other questions from this particular paper can be found in the playlist that will appear over here in this region here. Other questions from this topic of transformations, you'll find the Cambridge questions on transformations of P1 in the playlist over here. I'll also include here my work from Edexcel transformations, which has been in that syllabus for a lot longer. So you'll see lots of more questions about it in this particular playlist over here. And you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on this link. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.